Hello, Ariella. I'm going to read you the next chapter of My Father's Dragon. So remember the last video I did, it was about the father meeting the cat. Remember the father met the cat and the cat wanted a saucer of milk, and then the father's mother got all angry and didn't want to feed the cat and all of that. So, and then we had this map. It was a map at the beginning with some islands. Here's Tangerina Island and here's Wild Island. And remember the cat talked about going across the rocks? She was on Tangerina Island. She wanted to go across the rocks to Wild Island. I wonder what's on Wild Island. Anyway, so we're gonna do chapter 2 today, and it's called My Father Runs Away. Uh-oh. Okay, so let's see what happens here. Let me find it. Okay, chapter 2, My Father Runs Away. Put my glasses on. Wild Island is practically cut in two by a very wide and muddy river, said the cat. This river begins near one end of the island and flows into the ocean at the other end. Now the animals there are very lazy, and they used to hate having to go all the way around the beginning of the river to get to the other side of the island. They didn't want to go all the way around it. It made visiting inconvenient and mail delivery slow, particularly during the Christmas rush. So here's Wild Island, and there's a river that goes through, and they didn't want to walk all the way around to get over here because they couldn't go across the river very easily, so that was a problem. Crocodiles could have carried passengers and mail across the river, but crocodiles are really moody and not the least bit dependable. They're kind of scary sometimes. And they're always looking for something to eat with their big old mouths, crocodiles, alligators. They don't care if the animals have to walk around the river, so that's just what the animals did for many, many years. But what does all this have to do with airplanes? Asked the father, who thought the cat was talking an awfully long time to explain. Be patient, Elmer. Elmer's the father's name. Be patient, Elmer, said the cat, and she went on with the story. One day, about 4 months before I arrived on Wild Island, a baby dragon fell from a low-flying cloud onto the bank of the river. A baby dragon. Look at, here's the dragon. Uh-oh. How fun is that? Let's see here. He was too young to fly very well. And besides, he was bruised one wing quite badly because he fell, so he couldn't get back to the cloud. The animals found him soon afterwards, and everybody said, "Why, this is just exactly what we have needed for years." They tied a big rope around his neck and waited for the wing to get well. This was going to end all their crossing the river troubles. "I've never seen a dragon," said my father. "Did you see him, and how big is he?" "Oh, yes, indeed, I saw the dragon. In fact, we became great friends," said the cat. "I used to hide in the bushes and talk to him when nobody was around. He's not a very big dragon, about the size of a large black bear, although that's kind of big. Bears are big. I imagine he's grown quite a bit since I left. He's got a long tail and yellow and blue stripes. I bet he's pretty." Let's see, where am I here? Oh, his horn and eyes and the bottoms of his feet are bright red, and he has gold-colored wings. What a pretty dragon, huh? Wow, all those colors. "Oh, how wonderful," said my father. "What did the animals do with him when his wing got well?" "They started training him to carry passengers. And even though he was just a baby dragon, they work him all day and all night sometimes. So what they wanted is the people to sit on the dragon, because then the dragon can fly over the river." and then they don't have to walk all the way around. Wow, that's pretty smart. They make him carry loads that are much too heavy, and if he complains, they twist his wings and beat him. Oh, I don't like that. I don't like to hurt things. He's always tied to a stake on a rope just long enough to go across the river. His only friends are the crocodiles, who say hello to him once a week if they don't forget. Really, he's the most miserable animal I've ever come across. When I left, I promised I'd try to help him someday, because she didn't want him hurt. The cat didn't want him hurt. She wanted to help the dragon, although I couldn't see how. The people are just using him to fly across. That's not a very fun life. The rope around his neck is about the biggest, toughest rope you can imagine, with so many knots. It would take days to untie him. So they had the dragon tied down so he could fly across the river and help him, but he couldn't have any other fun. That's not very nice. Anyway, when you are talking about airplanes, you gave me a good idea. Now I'm quite sure that if you were able to rescue the dragon, which wouldn't be the least bit easy, he'd let you ride him almost anywhere. Provided you were nice to him, of course. How about trying it? Oh, I'd love to, said my father. And he was so angry at his mother for being rude to the cat that he didn't feel the least bit sad about running away from home for a while, because he was mad at his mother for being mean to the cat. That very afternoon, my father and the cat went down to the docks to see about ships going to the island of Tangerina. They were going to take a boat there, a ship. They found out that a ship would be sailing the next week. So right away, they started planning for the rescue of the dragon. Yay! The cat was a great help in suggesting things for my father to take with him, and she told him everything she knew about Wild Island. Of course, she was too old to go along, so she was going to stay back. Everything had to be kept very secret. Shh, don't tell. So when they found or brought anything to take on the trip, they hid it behind a rock in the park. The night before my father sailed, he borrowed his father's knapsack, and he and the cat packed everything very carefully. He took chewing gum, 24 pink lollipops, a package of rubber bands, black rubber boots like you wear in the rain, a package of a toothbrush, and a tube of toothpaste so he could brush his teeth, of course, 6 magnifying glasses, a very sharp jackknife, a comb and a hairbrush, 7 hair ribbons of different colors, an empty grain bag with a label saying cranberry, some clean clothes, and enough food to last my father while he was on the ship. That was a lot to pack. Wow, he's all prepared. He couldn't live on mice, so he took 25 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and 6 apples so he'd have food. 25 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, that's a lot, because that's all the apples he could find in the pantry, because he had 6 apples he took along too. When everything was packed, my father and the cat went down to the docks to the ship. The night watchman was on duty, so while the cat made loud noises to distract his attention, my father ran over the gangplank onto the ship. He went down into the hold and hid away with some bags of wheat. He snuck on there. Oh my goodness, the ship sailed away the next morning. Look, here's a picture of the cat on the dock. And the father was on that ship. He jumped off and hid, and he's on there sailing to Tangerina Island. And that's the end of chapter 2. Wow. Now it's going to be an adventure, huh? I wonder what the father's going to find on Tangerina Island. I kind of like this book. Okay, that's it for now, and I'll read you chapter 3 tomorrow, okay? Ciao, Ariella.